Hey everyone, it's Miranda, and today I would like to talk to you all about universal basic income. So, universal basic income has started to gain a lot more traction and attention the last couple years. It started to be really considered and talked about, not only in this country, but in other countries as well. And some countries have even started a smaller version of universal basic income in order to see how it would affect their economy and the overall well being of their citizens. So, today I would like to talk to you all about why I believe universal basic income should be implemented in the United States. And before I do that, I would just like to give a quick definition, quick general understanding of what universal basic income actually is for anyone who doesn't know. So, universal basic income is a government funded program that gives every adult citizen a set amount of money regularly. And the goals of universal basic income are to one, alleviate poverty, and two, replace the need based social programs that already exist that are currently funded by the government that may actually end up costing more money than universal basic income would. And there are currently no countries that have a universal basic income in place, though few have tested the waters by providing some sort of universal basic income model to certain lower income communities within their nation, just to see how it works. So now that I have provided a little bit of understanding about what universal basic income actually is, I would like to give my reasons as to why I believe it should be implemented in the United States. So, my first reason is that universal basic income would alleviate poverty. And though that is admittedly a pretty obvious argument, I also think that it's one of the most important ones because poverty is something that human beings have struggled with for practically our entire history. And even a small monthly payment coming from universal basic income could bring millions of people out of poverty and take away the chances that they will suffer things like homelessness, malnourishment, lack of access to healthcare, and all the other terrible things that people in poverty have to face every single day. So, according to the United States Census Bureau, the official poverty rate in 2021 was 11.6%, with 37.9 million American people in poverty. And that is just extremely depressing, in my opinion. So, this actually leads me to my next point, which is that universal basic income would encourage entrepreneurship. And I feel like this is something people really don't think about or consider when thinking about universal basic income. It's definitely not something I had thought about prior to doing my research, but entrepreneurship is continuously decreasing throughout the country, and that is largely due to fear of failure. Because if someone wants to start their own business and they end up opening their own business and spending all of the money that it costs to open your own business, and then that business fails, they have no safety net to fall back on unless their family is well off and can support them. So universal basic income would provide this safety net and allow more people the financial freedom to pursue opening a business. And the Roosevelt Institute actually published an estimated model of what this would look like and how it would affect the economy and entrepreneurship. And according to its macroeconomic models, a freedom dividend style program offering $1,000 in universal basic income to citizens every month would result in an estimated labor force increase of over 4.5 million through the formation of new business ventures. So this would actually boost our economy because it would create a lot more jobs from these new businesses that end up being started due to universal basic income. And now this actually leads me to my last and final point, which is that universal basic income would increase equality. And I think it's pretty obvious that it would increase income equality and financial equality overall, but it would also increase race equality. According to the U.S. Senate Committee on Small Business and Entrepreneurship, around 50% of businesses in the United States are owned by minorities. And according to them, minority-owned firms are 2 to 3 times more likely to be denied credit, more likely to avoid applying for loans based on the belief that they will be turned down, and more likely to receive smaller loans and pay higher interest rates on the loans that they do receive. So universal basic income would at least give everybody the same kind of starting point and would alleviate some of those issues and bring race equality a little bit closer. Now, there are many arguments and many proponents to argue against universal basic income. And one of those being is that universal basic income would incentivize people not to work because they could just live off the the basic income that the government is providing them. And I have two responses to this. One being that same argument is currently used for welfare, and while I'm sure there are some people out there that are living off of welfare and not going to work, that doesn't mean that it doesn't need to exist and it doesn't help people who actually really do need it. And my second argument is that most proponents of universal basic income are not providing a lot of money from the government. It's usually something like $1,000 a month. And I don't know about you, but I can't even support myself on $1,000 a month, let alone an entire family. So I just don't see how this would incentivize people not to work. I don't see how that would ever happen. So that brings me to my closing, and those were my three arguments. I just want to restate that I believe universal basic income should be implemented in the United States, and with the cost of living and poverty levels increasing every day, we need to find some sort of solution to support the American people, and universal basic income can be that solution. It can be that support, while also cutting out all of these social need-based programs that cost taxpayers so much money. I encourage you all to do your own research on universal basic income after listening to my speech. There are so many misconceptions surrounding it, and some of the small trial-based programs started by other countries have been more successful than anyone could imagine. So that's all I have for today, and I will see you all at your next speech. Thanks for listening.